719,321. That's how many Bitcoin the ETFs control now. And I'm not talking about the new 9 and all that BS. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that's a good way of measuring it. I'm talking about the entire market. When they started there at 619,000, which means since launch, the ETFs have acquired 100,321 Bitcoin inside of 26 trading sessions. That's an average of 3,859 Bitcoin per trading session. And at $52,000, that's $200 million a day worth of purchasing coming online from a new demand source that nobody ever knew existed and most people didn't even believe would come into fruition. Even when I was saying BlackRock has applied, it's done. So if you're sitting there and you're going, do I need to focus on this? Here's what I can tell you. $200 million a day, BlackRock alone could do that. By the way, this 26-day average is for all of the GBTC selling. It's for all of the buying that's happened, all of the pivoting, all of everything that's been going on. So what happens when people stop selling? What happens when miners stop selling? What happens when miners decide, you know what, I'm going to hold this Bitcoin rather than actually dump it into the market? What happens when all that selling sludge stops? Most people haven't thought about that yet. Most people are wondering, okay, when is this buying going to slow down? Here's what I'm thinking. When is the selling going to slow down? Because that's what happens in a bull market. We're about to enter a bull market. We are 60 days away from the halving. And Peter Saddington sent me some information after talking to a financial advisor. Basically, these financial advisors can't sell this yet, right? They've got 30 to 90 days worth of compliance once the product is approved to decide whether they can even offer the product to their clients or not. So you've got a lot here, and I appreciate Peter sending me that information. You've got a lot here that's about to come into fruition just in time for the halving. And in time for the halving, just to put that into perspective, they're buying 3,859 Bitcoin a day right now when there's 900 Bitcoin being mined. After the halving, it's 450 Bitcoin being mined, right? And here's how I like to work out my numbers like when I'm thinking about it. I take whatever the daily mine supply is, and then I add about 30% for the morons that are selling into the market, trading or whatever else they're doing, and basically sucking up their Bitcoin, getting their Bitcoin sucked up by the institutions, because that's what's going on. Every piece of data that's coming out in the last week is the retail is selling, institutions are buying, which is the complete opposite and the antithesis of what should be happening. But that's exactly what's going on. Retail, again, is being stupid with their money. So, but this is an opportunity for you, because if you haven't caught up to your 1 Bitcoin yet or more, whatever the allocation is for your portfolio, then now is the time. It's getting fucking urgent at this point. Now is the time to actually start figuring this out. And by the way, these buyers are a new form of buyer. As I've been saying for months, this is a new buyer. This is not a buyer that's going to come in and then dump the market and this, that. They're looking for a 1% allocation, right? That's the basis from my perspective that this buyer is. It's a 1% allocation buyer, and that buyer is not going to care whether the price goes up, down, sideways. Yeah, if it goes up a lot, they might trim a little bit, but overall, they're not looking to trade in and out of the markets, which is what I believe the GBTC buyer was, right? I think that was more of a speculative buyer. This is a long-term holder, and they're going to stay long-term holders no matter what happens. So that's what I'm thinking right now. I think that the fact that they're sucking up 3,859 Bitcoin a day is remarkable, right? And again, we haven't even started talking about ramping up the demand. We haven't even started talking about when advisors can actually sell Bitcoin to the lowly millionaires, in the next few months here. We haven't spoken about any of that. All we're talking about is $200 million a day that's coming in like clockwork, no matter what. These are not your $10 a month DCA gang members. This is not the doom and gloom boomers, right? These are not the happy hippies. These are the institutional buyers that everyone was talking about. And now you should be terrified of the fact that they're here and they're sucking up $200 million a day, which, by the way, Bitcoin has never, ever seen before in existence. $200 million a day. BlackRock alone, to make a 1% allocation, could allocate $200 million every trading session for like 500 trading sessions, which is 2 years. Even then, finally, they would get to 1% of their assets under management today. not in 2 years' time. So this is an absolute insane amount of demand, and the fact that they're sucking up 383,859 Bitcoin per trading session is absolutely remarkable. And if you're sitting there going, oh, I don't know whether I should learn about this, you're absolutely crazy. You need to learn about what's going on here, and you need to understand. I'm speaking to people that have got multi-million dollars in net worth, and they're scared about making, you know, a $50,000 allocation. And that was like, now we got the ETFs, so it's even easier. It's not like you got to go in and buy the Bitcoin and figure out where to stick your cold wallet to make sure you're safe, this, that. You open up your broker account that you've trusted for years, type in FBTC, you type in IBIT, you type in GBTC or whatever else you want to type in, and you click buy. And heyapollo.com has a really good ETF tracker, so you can see like how many Bitcoin per share there is, and then you can figure out how many shares you need. But it's about 1,100 depending on the provider, right? So like, this is moving now, right? If you're sitting there going, hey, I own a bunch of real estate and I'm super happy, then this, that, and the other, and I don't really need to think about Bitcoin, it's too risky. BlackRock, Fidelity are here. This is no longer the little leagues that we've had for the last few years. This is BlackRock, Fidelity, and if you've got a Fidelity account, you've got any broker account pretty much, you can go in and buy a Fidelity product, you can go in and buy a BlackRock product. And it's an extremely simple process. You just go in, type the symbol, type in how many shares you want, click buy, and you're done, right? You have Bitcoin exposure, right? So again, the point I want to make here, just to wrap up this week, I wanted to do a quick update on what's going on with these ETFs, is I've been saying this for months, right? We've got a new type of buyer in. This ETF demand is going to be overwhelming, and that's what we're seeing right now. And in the next week, I'm going to be doing some analysis now that we've got enough data, like 26 trading sessions, approaching 30 trading sessions. Now the data is going to start becoming relevant, that we can analyze what's actually going on. So I'm going to do a video on the multiplier effect and all this other stuff that's going on. So the question is, will you subscribe, right? Because I've been saying this for months. Since last August, I've been saying BlackRock's coming. They've filed. This is a done deal. And now they've actually filed. They said that the new buyer is going to be unbelievable. The new buyer is crazy. These are people holding long term. These are not your usual happy hippies. The market has completely changed, and people really don't understand what's going on here. If the buyer changes, the characteristics of the market have to change. And the thinking that I'm doing is, how is this going to impact cycles? So I'm going to do a video on that at some point this week. So please subscribe so you don't miss that. But ultimately, there are always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.